following is a presentation of ECTV Sports.
Last week, the Crusaders challenged McMurray University. However, the Indians proved not to be a challenge as the Crusaders shut out McMurray 29-0. Senior nose guard Ken Alonzo, who received game MVP, had 16 tackles and 2 fumble recoveries. Sean Monroe claimed his second consecutive 100-plus yard game rushing, and kicker Chris Knowles broke Kirk Spain's record of 19 career field goals. This Saturday is Evangel's homecoming game. The Crusaders take their 3-1 record up against the Missouri Valley Vikings, who stand 0-4.
They haven't won a game, and they're a team that's better than 0-4. They're probably the best 0-4 team in the country.
Will the Crusaders vanquish the Vikings? The pressure's on before the crowd of current students and alumnus all gathered here to watch Game 5, Evangel versus Missouri Valley. The action's next, right here on ECTV.
Yards through the air, and the Vikings have been only able to produce less than 7 points per game. Defensively, though, this is a solid football team. They've given up a number of points, but they're ranked second in the league in total defense. Graceland is ranked first, but the Vikings have played much better competition than the Yellow Jackets have through the first 4 weeks. Rushing defense is ranked third. This game, by the way, will feature the top 2 rushers in the league. Sean Monroe, as we mentioned in the pregame portion, coming off 2 great weeks. He's averaging 118 yards per game at his 9th in the country in Division II rushers. Second in the league is Sean Whitley. The Viking tailback averages 89 yards per game plus 1 touchdown to credit for him. So a pair of good running backs, and we'll see what the Vikings can do and what the Evangel defense can do to stop this option attack. Getting used to seeing option attacks, Rob.
Well, this is the 3rd consecutive week that the Crusaders have watched an option-based football team, and you're right, it's beginning to look very familiar to the Crusaders. And of course, this is the 3rd straight week that they've seen predominantly an I-based option attack, running out of the I formation, a power I set. And you would think that the first week things didn't go too well. Last week they gave up a number of yards, but no points against McMurray. And we'll see how the Vikings fare coming into the ball game. They are averaging, as you mentioned, just 6.8 points per ball game and less than 200 yards in total offense.
Looks like the Crusaders will kick off to open this game so quickly. We'll see Thorino Johnson, one of the nation's leaders in kickoff returns, averaging 38.6 yards per kickoff return, and he's been kicked off to quite a bit. He's second in the country. He's returned 1 for a touchdown.
Also back there is a young man by the name of Ike Crawford, and they will be standing back and around the goal line. The wind is coming from your left and blowing to your right. The Crusaders will be going from left to right here in the first quarter of this football game. Clear blue sky, some high clouds, and a gusty wind on this homecoming afternoon. You take a look at homecoming games gone by. The largest win in '86 of 52-0 over Langston University. The largest crowd occurred back in 1982 when they had 5,200.
We may rival that. They've had to open the upper deck, Rob. There are some fans pouring up to the upstairs portion of this stadium.
And the kickoff is taken by Thierno Johnson at the 12. He brings it to the 20, goes right down the field to the far hash mark. He's hit at the 26 and gang tackled back at the 25-yard line, and that's where the Vikings have the football. First down and 10, a return of 14 yards.
Let's set the Viking offense for you. At the quarterback, Calvin Freitas, the QB. He'll have a backfield for him of Rico Robinson, the fullback, the tailback, Sean Whitley. The wideouts will be Eric Woodfine and Thierno Johnson. Parker Towery at a tight end. The line, Scott Klimkowski and Danny Mabey are the tackles. The guards, Nick Hull and Chris Satcher.
And Whitley with a huge hole right up the middle. He rumbles out over the 40 to the 41-yard line. So on first down, Sean Whitley, who had rushed for 356 yards coming in, gains 16 on first down, and right away a Crusader player is down on the field, and Betty Tillman goes out to take a look at him.
Can't see who it is from this angle, Rob.
It is a first and 10 for the Vikings. They are clad in their white road uniforms with orange and blue trim, gray football pants with the orange and blue stripe.
I will set the rest of the offense and defenses while we have this moment. Brian Henry is the center for the Vikings. Evangel's defense in the 3-4. Jeff Simpson, the injured player, the strong safety. So up front, left in Tomas Lena, the nose guard Ken Alonzo. Brian Parker is the tackle. Outside linebackers Chris Lopez and Cedar Robinson, Craig Evenson, Jeff Seeger, the inside linebackers. The Craig Noakes now will come in and play that strong safety spot. The rest of them, Dale Milkey, Paul Heinzman, and Rodney Burns.
On first down and 10 from the 40-yard line. Second play of the football game out of the I formation. And again, the first man through this time will get the football. That's the fullback, Rico Robinson, and he will take it out over the 45 to the 47. Pickup of 7 yards. And right now you're looking at 23 yards on 2 possessions straight up the middle for the Missouri Valley Vikings.
At time, Robinson just sort of moved the whole pile and dragged a couple of Crusaders with him for a couple of extra yards. He had a pretty good hole opened up, but then able to surge for about 3 or 4 more yards to pick up that 7.
Thierno Johnson is in the backfield. He's going to come in motion out of the power I set. Whitley gets the handoff. He's hit in the backfield, but breaks a tackle, gets out over the 50-yard line into Crusader territory at the 47, possibly the 46 if they give him a spot.
Now there was Noakes in there to wrap him up, and about 3 or 4 other Crusaders in there as well. Robinson among them, as well as Sager.
A gain of 7 on the play. The referee today is George Blaze. The umpire is Carl Madsen. The head linesman, Bob Donahue. The line judge, Thomas O'Mara. The field judge is Arthur Lucky. And the back judge is Joseph LaRue for this homecoming contest, 1991.
The 15th homecoming.
Freitas under center. Johnson goes in motion to the far side of the field. Freitas is back to pass for the first time today, and he swings the ball out to his tight end, Parker Towery, at the 40-yard line, and he's going to be tackled at the near sideline to the 39 is where they give him the spot. It'll be about 3 yards shy of a first down.
Yeah, coming into this game, Freitas was only 6 of 20 passing. That was that one football game, though. Intercepted 4 times, got 140 yards, but that's only 30% completion. They went to short that time, but they had Clarence Hawkins, who was open deep over the middle.
On the 39-yard line, second down and 3. The handoff to Johnson. The ball is loose on the turf. Johnson can't pick it up. It's loose, and Rodney Burns has recovered. So the Crusaders get the football at their own 46-yard line.
Rob, that time the ball was knocked loose. It came way out of there along the near side, and one of the other running backs for Valley tried to pick it up and run with it. And coaches hate that. Just fall on it and take the loss so you keep the football. He tried to pick it up and go with it and wound up fumbling it again, and the Crusaders also tried to pick it up and return it, but couldn't do so and just fell on it. Burns got it, and the Crusaders take over offensively.
John Skeens comes to the line. He has 2 wide receivers to the far side, 1 to the near side. Miller and Corey Knott to the far side, Ray to the near side. Sean Monroe, the lone setback. And now Corey Knott comes in motion to the near side, and Skeens is going to go back to pass. He's going long. Ray's out there, and the ball is overthrown at the 20-yard line. Skeens was hit as he threw the pass, but put it right on the money. It just went through the receiver's hands, incomplete.
Perfectly thrown pass because the coverage was right there on Crawford, but a flag was thrown right at the line of scrimmage as the play developed, and it wound up to be a free play because Valley was caught offside, so they'll take 5 yards anyway.
So a free pass play for John Skeens, and they discuss it with Gavin Miller, the offensive captain. Now Gavin Jones comes into the lineup for the Crusaders. The ball is going to be spotted on the Valley 49-yard line. The Crusaders with the wind here in the first quarter. Ray to the far side along with Gavin Miller. Gavin Jones in the slot to the far side. Harris, the tight end, in tight on the near side.
Still first down.
First down and 5. Monroe hitting the backfield, breaks a couple of tackles, and fights his way down to the 48. A good, tough run for Sean Monroe to get a yard.
Yeah, only got a yard, but was hit in the backfield and just really broke about 2 tackles, and then just fought his way to gain a couple. And that was a good play there, because you take that loss, all of a sudden it's going to be second down and about 7 or 8 instead of second down and 4. So good that he got a yard there and set up a second down and short rather than second and long.
The down line for the Crusaders, the tackles, Rob Greger and Kevin Schimpf. Chris Lewis and Anthony Robinson, the guards. Scott Womack listed as the starting center. Not in tight now on the near side. Twins to the far side. Ray out of the backfield goes in motion, and we get somebody jumping offside. It was Roosevelt Daniels, the sophomore nose guard. Now the only question is, was he pulled off or did he jump off?
Well, it might have been fooled with Ray in motion. We'll see. It was on the Vikings.
So the Crusaders had Ray lining up in the backfield at the I formation spot as the I back, and then he jumps in motion and was going to the far side of the field, and Daniels jumped offside.
Yeah, the contact blows that play dead, and the 5 yards should give the Crusaders another first.
So the ball is now on the 43-yard line, and the Crusaders do get a 1st and 10.
The turnover big because I see the defense huddled down to the bench on the right trying to go over some things that they didn't get right, because the Vikings are moving the football pretty good in the 3 or 4 plays they had the ball. Now they get a chance to make some adjustments before the game really gets even started.
Skeens is going to give the ball to Monroe. Monroe with a pretty good size hole, and he'll fight his way down to the 40-yard line.
It looked like a decent hole, but Monroe really had to dance his way for about 3 yards because he was dodging players left and right. A pretty good run by Monroe.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the defense, a 3-4 set. Pete Padilla, Roosevelt Daniels, and Charlie McPhail on the front line. Howard Mann, Craig Sullivan, the outside linebackers, Tom Kindle and Johnny Dodge, the inside backers, and Dodge got credit for the tackle. Skeens drops the football on the snap, and it's recovered by Missouri Valley.
Yeah, the snap just never got to him, or he just dropped it one. On the recovery that time was Pete Padilla, the left tackle. And this shades of last week. Turnovers, 2 of them early on.
So the battle of field position, I guess you could say the Vikings come out of there with it because they have the football on their 41-yard line. 11:25 left to go in quarter number 1. The opening Heart of America Conference football game as Whitley gets the call and goes off tackle and gets out over the 45 to the 46. He picks up 5 tough yards on first down.
Whitley early on, 3 carries, 28 yards. Had a tough time stopping him.
Well, the Vikings have rushed for an average of 135.8 yards per game. The Crusaders have given up 224 yards per game rushing. Evangel has only allowed 98 yards a game passing, however, and of course passing is something that the Vikings don't do well. They've only passed for 52 yards a ball game. Freitas to pass. The rush is on, and the ball is almost intercepted. It was almost picked off by Tomas Lena, but he tripped over a Viking player who was down.
Yeah, right guard.
Yeah, right as he went to pick the ball off.
He would have had that too had Satcher not been laying in his way. But the Crusaders put a vicious hit on the quarterback Freitas that time that allowed the ball to sort of flutter harmlessly over the middle and nearly picked off.
I think it was Ken Alonzo who put the rush on.
Alonzo, the Heart of America Conference Player of the Week last week, had an outstanding football game. recorded 16 total tackles.
On the option, Freitas is going to get hit at the line of scrimmage and falls forward for a yard, maybe two, out to the 49, and he'll be a couple short of the first down.
That was Sager that wrapped him up that time. Alonso also in there to help finish him off, but a good open field tackle by Sager, because that he would have had the first down had he gotten by him.
As it is, it's 4th and 2, and Freitas is going to take a timeout. So the Vikings take timeout with 10 minutes and 19 seconds left to go, first quarter. We are scoreless, and we'll be back in 30 seconds.
Is that him in the last carry?
Evans along with Ed Beach back at the Plaster Sports Complex. They're going to go for it on 4th down and 2 from the 49-yard line.
It's got to be a running play, Rob, because they've had the confidence in that running game to try to do it. Let's see first if they try to draw Evangel off sides.
They are not. They give the ball to Whitley, and he's going to be nailed at the line. He may have squirted forward to the 50, but he had to get to the 49-yard line.
I think they stopped him, Rob. I think they stopped him. He had to get close to the 49-yard line, and I think it's going to be close, but no, they're not going to even measure it.
He was stopped a good yard shy of the first down marker, and Crusader opponents now 1 for 5 in 4th down conversion attempts, and the Crusaders have the football back right at midfield. A good job of the defense, particularly on 4th down. John Skeens under center. He has Ray and Monroe in the backfield. And now Anthony Ray in motion to the far side. 3 wide receivers that way, and Monroe gets the handoff and fights his way down to the 48 before he's gang tackled. The Vikings have done their homework on the Crusader running game, and Sean Monroe has not been able to get a whole lot. I think his largest gain so far has been 3 yards.
Now that quick line up front is not allowing any holes to open up for Monroe, plus the linebackers, the inside linebackers, staying at home. And they're sending out the corners to pick up the flankers as they go in motion out of the backfield.
You look at that linebacking core and their defensive line, and basically you have 7 guys who are about the same size and the same quickness, and they do a lot of moving around. Skeens will change the play, and he's going to take too much time as they throw the flags into the middle of the pileup. So the jumping Viking defense.
No, we have motion. You know what I think happened, Rob? I think the center, Womack, came too far over the ball. I think he kind of leaned over the ball as he came up there. It was a very quick whistle.
Well, I was thinking that perhaps as Skeens was trying to change the play, which he was in the process of doing, it appeared, the Viking defense was jumping around. And if that's the case, then they're giving John different looks, and that may be an effort to try and confuse him. 3 wide receivers to the far side. They look like they're matching up man-to-man. Skeens is going to pass. Swings the ball out to Gavin Jones at the 50. He gets around his man to the 45 and fights his way down to the 42, and he'll be a couple of yards shy of the first down.
I would not want to go one-on-one with Gavin Jones. It is too tough to handle one-on-one. You got to have some help, and that time he just danced around one man, and it took the safety to come up to knock him down.
He gained 11 yards on the play, and it'll bring up 2nd down. They'll make it 3rd down and 2. So 3rd and 2 from the 42. Miller to the near side. Corey Knott, the tight end, split to the far side. Ray in the backfield. Jones is in the slot. And there's some confusion on the part of the Crusaders. Now Skeens with a pitch back to Anthony Ray. He's going to be hit behind the line and tackled at the 45-yard line. So the Vikings secondary, and that one all figured out. Ike Crawford coming up to get in on the stop. Terrence Richardson, the other cornerback, was there as well.
They came flying in, Rob. As soon as Skeens turned around to pitch that ball to Ray in the sweep to the near side, they came flying in there right after Ray. The blockers couldn't pick them up in time.
So you're looking at a punting situation. The Crusaders send Chris Harder back to punt it away. He pops it from his 44. Ike Crawford makes the catch at the 13. He's going to try to go to the far side of the field. He's out to the 20, 25 to the 30, cuts back 35 to the 40, and is gang tackled at the 44-yard line.
That's some great blocking, but maybe one block too good because there's a flag down back at the 16.
I thought that was where Thierno Johnson tried to throw a block for him. It was a return of 31 yards, and Johnson may have gotten somebody on a clip, and you see him reacting as if to say, well, what did I do? I'm not supposed to block.
I didn't really see that. I did see him flying in to lay a block on, and it opened up the hole for the returner, but it is a penalty against the Vikings, and this is going to be huge because it goes back to the spot of the foul at the 11, and it's going to be half the distance to the goal.
Well, it's an illegal block is what it was called.
No, it's not going to be half the distance because it's at the 16, actually, so this could back them way up.
How do we get upstairs?
There's 5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh, it is going to be
half the distance to the goal. And it puts them inside the 10 at the 8-yard line.
Still, they lose a good 30 yards out of that. And instead of midfield, they're almost in the shadow of their own goalpost.
7:46 left to go in the first quarter. We're scoreless. The Vikings with the football. Whitley is going to try to get to the outside and fights his way out over the 15 to the 16 for being tackled by the Crusaders. Paul Heinzman, Jeff Simpson in on the stop, a gain of 8, and it'll be second down and 2 yards to go. Well, you may have heard that score. The SMS Bears leading Southern Illinois 3-0 at Carbondale.
That would be a huge win for the Bears. They can pull that off.
Taking the handoff is Ron Rico Robinson, and he's going to get the first down out close to the 20-yard line. Just a straight power handoff, and he does get the first down. Cedar Robinson. And Brian Parker in on the stop along with Tomas Lena.
They didn't need much out of it, but did get the 3 yards that they needed. And again, that was Robinson just kind of burrowing ahead for the 3 yards.
Whitley gets the call, tries to go off tackle. He finds it a little tougher that time. Gets out to the 22, maybe the 23-yard line. So on first down, he picks up 3. It'll be 2nd and 7. Wish we could had a little mouse up at Lamoni, Iowa, not only to scout the Yellow Jackets, but see how Baker and Graceland are doing.
It'll be a very interesting game indeed to see how that one will progress. Baker, a hard team to figure early on. Graceland has played extremely well through 4 weeks.
2nd and 7 out of the I formation with a man in the slot to the near side. That man in the slot is Johnson. He's going to get the ball in the slot back around. Picks up a block, stumbles as he gets to the outside and fights his way to the first down marker. He was fighting himself because he stumbled at the 25 and tried to maintain balance and dives to the 30 and gets the first down.
Burns may have been the cause of him slipping a little bit. Burns couldn't quite beat the blocker that was out there, but he did turn Johnson a little bit further to the outside than he wanted to go, and it turns out that Thierno wound up stumbling a bit, but stumbled ahead for the first.
So 1st and 10 on the 30-yard line. No score in the ball game. Johnson comes in motion to the near side. There's nobody home, and he throws it on the ground. The quarterback does, and that was a rookie mistake by Freitas.
Yeah.
Coming out of there with the football for the Crusaders is Tomas Lena, but when Freitas took the ball and held it out there for the fullback to come through, and there was no fullback, he took a look, and then all of a sudden he just got rid of the ball and threw it up for grabs, and that, of course, just a rookie mistake. Eventually he'll learn to hang on to it and try to do something himself.
Yeah, there were 4 maroon jerseys right there, and again, nobody to pitch it to, so he just kind of put it out there in the ground for the Crusaders to recover.
And the Crusaders do with the ball on the 29. John Skeens will throw out of the shotgun on first down with 3 wide receivers to the far side, and now Ray comes in motion to the near side of the field. Long count. Skeens back to pass. He's going to set the screen up to Gavin Jones. Jones at the 30, 25, down to the 23-yard line. So when it's all said and done, he picks up 4 yards. Maybe 5 yards. Give him 5, and it'll be 2nd and 5 with 5 minutes and 29 seconds left to go in first quarter.
I wonder how much of that dive was or how much of that yardage was on the dive, because he went flying ahead for about 3 or 4 yards on the near sideline.
Gavin Jones, the Crusaders' second leading receiver, with 18 catches coming into the day.
And one of the leading scorers in the country.
He's in the slot to the far side. Ray goes in motion out of the backfield. And Skeens is going to get it to Gavin Jones on the shuttle pass, and he's hit behind the line. He was grabbed around the ankle and ends up losing 4 yards. He was grabbed around the ankle by Albert Macias, a defensive tackle out of San Antonio, Texas, who hung on long enough for the rest of the defense to get there.
Yeah, Sullivan wound up putting the hit on. And that goes back 4 yards. The Crusaders need to convert here and get something going offensively, because they have not gotten much. Only 1 first down, and they've been in great field position. They should have had some points on the board by now.
Jones will line up on the near side, Ray to the far side. That's, I should say, Miller. Gavin Jones is in the slot. Skeens to pass. The rush is on. He overthrows Anthony Ray at the 15-yard line. It would have been good for the first down, but the ball was well overthrown, and the Vikings had good coverage.
They did. They were looking, though, for Anthony Ray all the way. They had Gavin Jones as an outlet. He was open, but I don't know. He would have had to really create another 9 yards to get that first down, but they were looking for Ray all the way. He was open to receive the pass, but it was overthrown.
So Chris Knowles is going to come in and attempt his 13th field goal of the year. It will be a 44-yarder with the win, with 4:09 to go from the near hash mark. 7 out of 12 this year. Is long of 50. Snap back, the ball is down, the kick is on the way. It's long enough, and it is no good. So the Vikings dodge the bullet with 4 minutes and 4 seconds left to go in the first quarter.
Now the kicking game been a bit inconsistent this season, but again, Knowles having to make some adjustments to a new snapper, a new holder, but still is not quite clicking through the 5th week of play. But they don't give up that good a field position, though, to Missouri Valley. They have to start at their own 28.
On the 28, 1st and 10, Freitas is going to give the ball to Ronrico Robinson, and before Robinson really gets the handoff, that play was blown dead. And it's going to be a procedure penalty against the Vikings.
4th penalty for Missouri Valley. This now 23 yards of penalties for them, and they've all been that kind of thing. Motion, 1 illegal block. Motion, illegal block, and a couple of offsides. But a little bit surprising that you've seen that kind of mistakes from the Missouri Valley team at the 5th week.
But that happens when you put a lot of youngsters in there. I mean, you got to remember, even if the freshmen start the entire season, they've only got 5 games of experience.
Really, though, that line has got some experience.
There's another poor pitch, but Whitley is able to pick it up, and he gets to the outside and gains the yardage that they lost on the penalty back. It's a pickup of 5 before he's run out of bounds. And he's lucky that the ball bounced like a basketball that time as opposed to football. Because he put it on the ground, Freitas did, about 5 yards in front of him, and it bounced up, and he was able to run, catch it about knee-high, and go on.
And the Vikings are probably happy to be playing on the Omni turf where you get those sure bounces rather than their own Greg Mitchell field where you never know where that thing is going to go.
We mentioned this is the Crusaders' 15th homecoming. They have won 6, lost 7, and tied 1. That includes the forfeit loss of 88 in which they won their homecoming contest. Hand off to Robinson again, and he will get out over the 30 to the 33-yard line. And that's going to bring up 3rd down as Ken Alonso gets in on the stop. Back in 1977 over at Kennedy Stadium, Arkansas Tech was the opposition in the first homecoming game. Final in that one was 58-15. As Denny Duran took his first Crusader ball club playing its first homecoming game. First time the Missouri Valley Vikings have played the homecoming opposition for the Crusaders. There's a man in motion out of the power eye backfield. Freitas is going to run the option, and he gets absolutely nothing as Greg Evenson is there to tackle him at the 35. He gets maybe a yard, and it will bring up 4th down and a long 2, and the Vikings are going to punt.
Evenson just ran him down. The quarterback trying to roll out to his right, going to tuck it under, and was looking for the first down. Evenson just came from behind, and the quarterback looked like he didn't have a chance.
So Jeff Hunt punts it away, and the ball is going to bounce inside the Crusader 35 down to the 32-yard line. Paul Heinzman was back waiting to receive the punt. It's a punt of 37 yards with the roll. And with 2 minutes and 27 seconds to go in the first quarter, we are scoreless, and the Crusader offense has not looked very sharp at all, Ed.
1 first down. They've had great field position and haven't taken advantage of those opportunities. You just get the sense that I'm sure when they came off to the sidelines that last trip after missing the 44-yard field goal, the coaching staff probably said, hey, guys, it's time to get going. We'll see what they do here.
3 wide receivers to the near side of the wide side of the field. Monroe, the lone setback. Skeens to pass. He's going long. Gavin Miller's out there, and he gets a hand on the ball at the 39-yard line, but it's basically overthrown.
He may have been actually knocking that football away from the defensive back on the coverage that time. Kevin Shipe was right there, the free safety, and Miller leaped up and knocked the ball away. Rob Skeens had pretty good protection that time. The ball fluttered up a little bit on him.
He's throwing with the wind here in this quarter, and he's been long on just about everything. And we're talking about a pretty good breeze. It's warm, but it's going to seem a lot cooler than that out there because of the wind chill. Skeens will throw out of the shotgun on 2nd and 10 from the 32-yard line. Kendall Crawley will come in motion to the near side. Skeens throws it over the middle, and he was under pressure, and yeah, he threw it away. He overthrew Anthony Ray by a good 20 yards.
Somebody missed their assignment on the near side. I think it was the outside linebacker on the right side. I think it was Craig Sullivan that came flying in. Schimpf didn't even have a chance to even get an arm on him as he ran right by Schimpf, I believe, out of the linebacker spot, and was all over Skeens as soon as he got the snap.
And Justin Emerton, a freshman, 275-pounder, will come in and take Schimpf's spot. On 3rd and 10, Skeens will slip the ball to Crawley on the draw play, and that fooled absolutely nobody.
Well,
will result in a loss of about 4 or 5 yards.
Again, good penetration by the Valley defense. They were in Evangel's backfield, and even if they weren't even looking for the pitch, once the pitch was there, they were all over the guy, Crawley, and it turns into be a loss of about 5 or 6.
So you're looking at a punting situation, and Chris Harder will come in. Harder averaging 35.5 yards per punt, and he'll hit this one from around his own 14-yard line. Crawford and Thierno Johnson are deep to receive, and the punt is away. It's a high spiraling kick. Fair catch is called for by Thierno Johnson back at his own 33-yard line. So you're looking at a 41-yard punt.
That's his long.
Close. Yep, but you're right, it is. His long was 40.
That was in the opening week
against Union College. Memphis State leading Missouri 7-0 that game in the first quarter. Hand off to Whitley on first down. He'll take it out over the 35, close to the 40-yard line. And the Vikings are getting 4 and 5 yards a pop on first down. That makes it very, very tough on the Crusader defense. Let's amend that Mizzou score. It's 10-7. Mizzou with the lead over Memphis State. It's a Memphis State ball club that owns a win at USC. Freitas under center on second down. Hands the ball off to Whitley. Huge hole. He's into Crusader territory down to the 48-yard line.
Whitley now over 60 yards of rushing for the day. We're looking at about 65, 66 yards.
Gain of 14, and that'll be good for a first down. We're down to the 1-minute mark. 1:01 to go in the first quarter. And I have a feeling that this first half is going to serve as a wake-up call. You would hope it would for the Crusaders, because the Vikings have come out and played very tough football. Whitley is going to get the call, and he's going to find the going a little tougher that time. He takes it down to the 47, picks up a yard. 2nd and 9.
Evangel defense all over that play. Got a few good pops in on Whitley to stump him.
Reminder, you're listening to Evangel College Football on KLFJ Radio, Springfield, Missouri. Rob Evans along with Ed Beach with 25 seconds to go in quarter number 1. It's homecoming 1991. Freitas with a full house backfield. Now Thierno Johnson will walk in motion, serve as an attempted blocker, and Whitley will spin away and get inside the 45 down to the 42-yard line. Johnson didn't have his heart in that block that he was throwing, did he?
Didn't look like it.
If I had his abilities as a wide receiver, I wouldn't want to block a whole lot either. It's a gain of 5 as the first quarter comes to a close. At the end of 1, no score. And we'll be back with the second quarter in 30 seconds. Nope. As we get started here in the second quarter, the Vikings have the football on the 42-yard line. They're looking at 3rd down. 3rd down and 3. No score in the ball game. And here to tell you about it, Ed Beach.
Thank you, Rob. Again, 3rd down and 3 from the Evangel 42. Handoff straight up the middle. This time to Rico Robinson. Rico Robinson. He moves the pile ahead for what it looks to be close to a first down.
Oh, he's got it. That was just a case of the Vikings lining up and playing power football and telling their line that they had to blow the other guy's line off the ball and get 3 yards, and that's exactly what they did.
Great crowd here on hand today at Plaster. Again, the lower deck completely full. They've opened up the upper deck, and a number of fans sitting upstairs. On 1st and 10, this time for the Evangel 37. Man in motion to the backfield is Thierno Johnson. The quarterback keeps it. Now pitches to his left to Whitley. Gets across the 35 and dives ahead to about the 32. A gain of 6 or 7 on the first down play. Another Crusader is down.
Looks like Tomas Lena, but I'm not sure.
Let's call that a gain of 7 for Whitley. Now up to 80 yards of rushing in the afternoon. This big crowd that arrived early. A number of festivities going on in the parking lot across Grand Street for the homecoming festivities. Among them, Rob, a dunking booth, and I feel sorry for whoever drew the duty of getting dunked in there today. Not a good day to be drenched with the very cold wind, as we mentioned, blowing fairly hard across the city.
Looks like the injured Crusader down on the ground is Brian Parker, 6'3", 225-pound junior. He wears 55. Lena wears 95, and you've got Chris Lopez in there with 35, and you can see the 5 and the other number, which looks somewhat similar to a 9. And Betty Tillman is looking at his right knee, and that's not a good sign.
No, it's not. That was away from the play as well. Of course, he'd be lined up at the tackle spot as the play went to the left. But you're right. It looks like they are working on the left knee.
Saw the referee mention to the Crusaders that they needed to get, I thought they were calling to get somebody else out there to help out, but what they were doing was going ahead and letting both teams have the managers come out and get the remaining players out some water, and they'll sit around. And now the Crusader defense in a quick huddle, offering a word of prayer and hopes that the injury is not too serious to Brian Parker, and he's being helped off the field.
Not putting any weight on that right leg.
So coming in to replace him is Alex Bryant, the 6'2", 290-pound freshman out of Macomb, Illinois.
Second down, call it 4 yards to go for the Vikings from the Evangel 31. Out of the I formation, they hand off to the second man through, who's stuck hard at the 30. This will be a gain of only 1 for Missouri Valley. They'll be facing third down again. That time the ball carrier again was Whitley.
Absolutely nothing on that play. And he's not going to lead a whole lot for the first down, about 3 yards. I would think that you're in 4-down territory at this point. I mean, the Vikings have gone forward a little further back. Earlier in the ball game, they did not get the first down, but similar situation a moment ago, they were able to pick up the 3 yards with ease.
Crusaders have been very good on third down conversions defensively, only 14 of 64 for the offense, and this time the ball carrier will get close to it. He's stuck at about the 27, falls forward, and it's going to be close. Whitley, the ball carrier, and the officiating crew will eyeball it. He's got the first.
First and 10 for the Vikings.
Oh, another 1st and 10 for Missouri Valley. They keep the drive alive with 13:36 left in the second period. Again, no score from Plasterfield, and this, the Crusaders' homecoming. And Missouri Valley putting together a decent-looking drive. The 2 turnovers that they had in the first quarter have stymied other drives. See what they can come up with out of the power I set. Johnson in motion to the near side. Handoff, now the pitch to Whitley on a sweep left. Gets around Rodney Burns at the 20, the 15, run out of bounds at about the 11. A good quick run by Whitley, who ran around the corner on the left side and picks up 16 in the first down carry. Actually, they're going to mark him out of bounds. Well, right at the 11, so he got 16. And it will be 1st and 10 for Valley at the Crusader 11.
No, the Crusaders did not have anybody outside to turn the pitchman back in. They did not have anybody watching the pitchman, and Freitas made the good judgment early to get the ball to him as quick as possible.
Vikings looking for the first points of the game out of the wishbone set. They get it to Whitley, who gets to the 10 and is stopped right there. Well, the Evangel defense played extremely well at this area of the football field against McMurray a week ago, but this little bit of a different attack that they're seeing. But if they can hold here, it would be something. They got a yard in that first down play. It's 2nd down and 9 from the 10. Out of the power I set, the tight end to the right side. On a keeper, the quarterback surges inside the 5, dives, and they're going to say that is a touchdown. The late indication came from the near side, the referee on the near side, but Freitas runs it in himself on the quarterback keeper, and the Vikings are on the board first.
It's almost a case of Midwestern State revisited. The Crusaders having trouble stopping the option game here this afternoon after doing a good job last week against McMurray.
For the extra point, Jeff Hunt in there to knock it through, and he does. So with 12:29 left in the first half, the Vikings have taken an early lead. It's 7-0 Missouri Valley. Back to Plasterfield after this timeout. Where the Vikings have taken a 7-up 9-yard run on a quarterback keeper, and the Vikings are on the board early. That was a good drive for the Vikings going the length of the football field. While Evangel has had good field position throughout the first period, they've been able to do nothing with it.
Well, they're going to have to make some adjustments on the option game defensively in the locker room at halftime, and they're going to try to do it right now down on the sidelines. You can see Steve Woods working with the defensive unit. But Missouri Valley made it look easy that time.
Ian Hughes kicks off this time for the Vikings. A long kick Anthony Ray takes it at the 1. Across the 5, the 10. Has a little wedge up the middle. Gets across the 20 and dives ahead to the 23. And that's where the Crusader offense will set up shop after they have only gone for 1 first down so far in this game. In that first quarter, they only had 14 yards of total offense.
And we're talking about a team that averages over 100 yards per quarter in total offense. You're talking about a team that has averaged 422 yards of total offense for the